Shalom, shalom. Welcome to the our Shabbat class. How's everybody doing?
Good, well.
That's good. I only heard one person, but we'll keep going. As always, we have class every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and Saturdays at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And so we're going to get right into the lesson and pass it over to Leonard.
Okay, shalom, everybody. I'm glad to be here on the Sabbath today. And the lesson today is the Lord of hosts shall perform this. And what brought this lesson about was the fact that we waiting on to be delivered. We've been awakened. Isaiah 44, 1 through 5, it's overtaking us as Israelites, and we are waking up and to who we are, waking up to our culture, and we are rejecting a lot of stuff that lies have been given to us. And so we know that by us waking up that we have to return back to our land. The place where we at now is not our land. And the Most High had given our forefathers and us a promise that He was going to return us back to our land and rebuild it, and we was going to exist in peace with Him. And so what I want to do is I want to verify that, because a lot of people believing in that, but they really not believing that it's going to come to pass, So what I'm going to do is go back and look in other areas of the Old Testament to see that when He spoke certain things, did they come to pass, and did He perform like He said He was. So to start it out, I'm in Jeremiah chapter 1, verse 12, and because He made a statement there, and I'm going to build off of that statement that He made in Jeremiah. He said, 12 and 1, He said, then said the Lord unto me, talking to Jeremiah, thou hast well seen, for I will hasten my word to perform it. And so what I want to do is I want to build on that, because He told Jeremiah, he gave Jeremiah the statement saying that whatever He told Jeremiah, He's going to perform. So what I want to do is go to Jeremiah 25 and 12. And what Jeremiah 25 and 12 is, the setting for this situation is that they in Jerusalem, and Israel had turned away from the Lord, and so the Lord raised up Jeremiah to go to the people to tell them that to repent and turn back to Him, or He's going to bring forth the Babylonians on them, and they're going to burn the temple and all that. So I'm in 25 and 12, and He tells them this is the 70-year prophecy that He gave the Israelites, our forefathers, through Jeremiah. And it says, and it shall come to pass when 70 years are accomplished that I will punish the king of Babylon and that nation, says the Lord, for their iniquity in the land of the Chaldeans, and I will make a perpetual desolation. And I will bring upon the land all my words which I have pronounced against thee, even all that is written in this book, which Jeremiah prophesied against all nations. So he told Jeremiah that Israel was going to go into captivity in Babylon because of their sins, and they was going to remain after 70 years. Then He's going to return them back to their land, and then once He returns them back, He's going to punish the Babylonians and all the nations around for their wickedness and for what they had done to the Israelites. So let's see if he done that. So go to Isaiah 44 and 21. I'm reading 21 through 28. So it says, 21. Remember thee, O Jacob and Israel, for thou art my servant. I have formed thee, thou art my servant, O Israel. Thou shalt not be forgotten of me. I have blotted out as a thick cloud thy transgressions, and as a cloud thy sins. Return unto me. I have redeemed thee. Sing, O ye heavens, for the Lord hath done it. Shout, ye lower parts of the earth. Break forth into singing, ye mountains, O forests, and every tree therein. For the Lord hath redeemed Jacob, and glorified himself in Israel. Thus saith the Lord, thy Redeemer, and he that formed thee from the womb. I am the Lord that maketh all things, that stretcheth forth the heaven alone, that spreadeth abroad the earth by myself, that frustrateth the tokens of the liars, and maketh diviners mad, that turneth wise men backwards, and maketh their knowledge foolish, that confirmeth the word of his servant, and performeth the counsel of his messengers, that saith to Jerusalem, thou shalt be inhabited, and to the cities of Judah, and ye shall be built. And I will raise up the decayed places thereof, that saith to the deep, be dry, and I will dry up the rivers, that saith to Cyrus, he is my shepherd, and shall perform all my pleasure, even saying, Jerusalem, thou shalt be built, and to the temple, thy foundation shall be built. So we see that the Babylonians had tore down, burned the temple, and took the Israelites to Babylon. And he told Jeremiah, through Jeremiah, he made a statement that he was going to return the Israelites back to the land, and he's going to rebuild the temple. And we see that he done just that. He brought the Israelites back, and rebuilt the temple, Jerusalem temple, and then he destroyed all the nations around, just like he had said, just like he said. He told Jeremiah. Okay, and then so another instance was Hagar and Ishmael, and so that's in Genesis chapter 21. And so what's happening? What happened right here is that he had came to Abraham in Genesis 18 and told him that he was going to have a son, because Abraham was concerned that he didn't have no heir, and so he came to him in Genesis 18 and told him he was going to give him a son, and that he's going to be a father of many nations. And so right here in 21, before that happened, his wife Sarah gave him Hagar, and he went into Hagar and had Ishmael. And so now that he had brought forth Isaac, the son that she had for Hagar is become a problem, because he's taunting Isaac. So I'm gonna pick it up right here in verse 21. In verse 9 it says, and Sarah saw the son of Hagar the Egyptian, which had born unto Abraham, mocking. Wherefore she said unto Abraham, cast out this bondwoman and her son, and the son of this bondwoman shall not be an heir with my son, even with Isaac. And the thing was very grievous in Abraham's sight because of his son. And God said unto Abraham, let it not be grievous in thy sight because of the lad, and because of thy bondwoman. In all that Sarah hath said unto thee, hearken unto her voice, for in Isaac shall the seed be called. And also of the son that the bondwoman will make, will I make a nation, because he is thy seed. And Abraham rose up early in the morning and took the bread and a bottle and gave it unto Hagar, putting it on her shoulder, and the child, and sent them away. And she departed and wandered into the wilderness for sheep. Okay, so what happens is he comes. Let me find this. So Hagar and her son is out in desert, and they're about to die. So verse 16 says, she went and sat her down over against him a good ways, and it was a bow shot. For she said, let me not see the death of the child. And she sat over against him and lifted up her voice and wept. And God heard the voice of the lad, and the angel of God called Hagar out of heaven and said unto her, what aileth thee, Hagar? Fear not, for God hath heard the voice of the lad where he is. Arise, lift up the lad, and hold him in thine hand, for I will make him a great nation. And God opened her eyes, and she saw a well of water. And she went and filled a bottle with water and gave the lad drink. And God was with the lad, and he grew and dwelt in the wilderness and became an archer. So we see right here that this happened right here, and the children of Ishmael are the Arabs. So we see that the Arabs is a great nation today. So what he told Hagar right here, and what he told Isaac and Sarah about Ishmael becoming a great nation, he performed that. So we see right here in the first incident with Jeremiah, what he said, he brought it to pass. And right here with Hagar and Ishmael and Isaac and Sarah, he brought it to pass right here. So far his word is true. And what he said, he performed. So now I'm dealing with I'm in 2 Kings chapter 19, and this is about the Assyrians when they came up against Israel during the time of Hezekiah. So 2 Kings 19. I'm going to start with chapter 12. First Kings, my bad. First Kings chapter 12, and what's going on is Solomon getting ready to die. I mean, Solomon is on the throne, but Solomon had turned from the Lord. He started out full of the Spirit of the Lord and doing everything the Lord said and everything that David, his father, had commanded him. But in his old age, he's married all these wives, and he ended up turning from the Lord and sinning against the Lord. So now he's at the end, and his son Rehoboam is being made king right here. So I'm gonna pick it up in chapter 12, verse 1. And Rehoboam, went to Shechem, for all Israel will come to Shechem to make him king. And it came to pass when Jeroboam the son of Nebat, who was yet in Egypt, heard of it, for he was fled from the presence of King Solomon, and Jeroboam dwelt in Egypt. And so Jeroboam was a servant was a son of the servant that was over the house of Solomon, and he was a warrior, a mighty man, and Solomon had a problem with him. So Solomon was doing to Jeroboam what Saul was doing today. He kept trying to kill Jeroboam, so Jeroboam had to flee and go to he fled to Egypt to get away from Solomon. So Solomon passed away. Now they've made Solomon's son Rehoboam king. And so in verse 3 it says that they sent and called him, that's Jeroboam. They went and got Jeroboam from Egypt. And Jeroboam and all the congregation of Israel came and spake unto Rehoboam, saying, thy father made our yoke grievous. Now therefore make thou grievous, says, now therefore make thou the grievous service of thy father, and his heavy yoke which he put upon us lighter, and we will serve thee. And he said unto them, depart ye for 3 days. Then come again unto me, and the people departed. So he sent them away to get so he can get counseling from his counselor to see what he's going to do about what they wanted. So what's going on is the 10 tribes sided with Jeroboam against Rehoboam, and they wanted him to say that if he would listen to him and take the yoke that Solomon had put on them, off of them, they would stay with him and serve him and keep the Israel together as the 12 tribes. So on that note, I'm going to go to chapter 11, which is I'm showing you. I was setting the stage for what I'm going to now. Chapter 11, verse 11. I'm going back to when Solomon was Solomon adultery and all the wives and how he turned from the Lord. Chapter 11, verse 9. I'm starting at verse 9. And the Lord was angry with Solomon because his heart was turned from the Lord God of Israel, which he had appeared unto him twice, and had commanded him concerning this thing, that he should not go after other gods. But he kept not that which the Lord commanded. It says, wherefore the Lord said unto Solomon, for as much as this is done of thee, thou hast not kept my covenant and my statutes which I commanded thee, I will surely rend the kingdom from thee, and I will give it unto thy servant. So we see right here, the Most High pronounced this to Solomon. He pronounced it to Solomon that because you've done this, he's going to take 10 of the tribes from him, and he's going to give it to his servant. So who is his servant? His servant is the man that's over his household, that keeps his house. The man that keeps his house, just like Joseph kept Potiphar's house. Joseph was a servant for Potiphar. So right here, he spoke it right here, and he told Solomon that because you've done this, I'm going to rend the kingdom from you, right? So now let's go back to chapter 12, and I'm going to pick it up at where I was at, in verse 6. The people departed from Rehoboam, which is Solomon's son. He on the throne now, and he said they told him to come back in 3 days. Verse 6. And the king Rehoboam consulted with the old men that stood before Solomon his father while yet alive, and said, How do ye advise that I may answer this people? And they spake unto him, saying, If thou wilt be a servant unto this people this day, and will serve them, and answer them, and speak good words to them, then will I be a servant forever. But so they gave him some righteous counsel and said that if he humbled himself, then the kingdom, the 12 tribes stay there with him. But look what he did in verse 8. But he forsook the counsel of the old men, which they had given him, and consulted with the young men that were grown up with him, and which stood before him. And he said unto them, What counsel give ye, that we may answer this people, who have spoken to me, saying, Make the yoke which thy father did put upon us lighter. And the young men that were grown up with him spake unto him, saying, Thus shalt thou speak unto this people that spake unto thee, saying, Thy father made our yoke heavier, but make thou it lighter unto us. Thus shalt thou say unto them, My little finger shall be thicker than my father's loins. And now, whereas my father did lay you with a heavy yoke, I will add your yoke. And my father has chastened you with whips, but I will chasten you with scorpions. So Jeroboam and all the people came to Rehoboam the 3rd day, as the king appointed, saying, Come to me again on the 3rd day. And the king answered the people roughly, and forsook the old men's counsel that they had gave him, and spake to them after the counsel of the young men, saying, My father made your yoke heavy, and I will add to your yoke. My father also chastened you with whips, but I will chasten you with scorpions. So let's see why he done that. 15. Wherefore the king hearkened not unto the people, for the call was from the Lord, right? That he might perform his saying, which the Lord spake by Agag the Shunammite unto Jeroboam the son of Nebat. So you say, well, what is he talking about? If you go to 11 and 29, he told Solomon in verse 11 of chapter 11 that the kingdom was going to be rent from him because of his idolatry. So right here in verse 29 it says, it came to pass at that time when Jeroboam went out from Jerusalem that the prophet Ahijah the Shulamite that we just read found him in the way, and he had clad himself with a new garment, and they two were alone in the field. And Ahijah caught the new garment that was on him and rent it in 12 pieces. 31. And he said to Jeroboam, take thee 10 pieces, for thus saith the Lord, the God of Israel, behold, I will rend the kingdom out of the hands of Solomon, and will give the 10 tribes unto thee. And we see that this happened right here. Go back to 16, chapter 12, verse 16. So when all Israel saw that the king hearkened not unto them, the people answered the king, saying, what portion have we in David? Neither have we inheritance in the sons of Jesse. To your tents, O Israel. Now see thine own house, David. So Israel departed unto their tents. But as for the children of Israel, which dwelt in the cities of Judah, Rehoboam reigned over them. Then King Rehoboam sent Adram, who was over the tribute, and all Israel stoned him with the stones that he died. Therefore the king Rehoboam made speed to get him up to his chariot to flee from Jerusalem. So Israel rebelled against the house of David unto this day. And it came to pass, right here, he spoke it over there, now it's coming to pass. And it came to pass, when all Israel heard that Jeroboam was come again, they sent and called him unto the congregation and made him king over all Israel. Therefore none that followed the house of David, but the tribes of Judah only. And Rehoboam was come to Jerusalem. He assembled all the house of Judah and the tribes of Benjamin and 160 chosen men, which were warriors, and to fight against the house of Israel, to bring the kingdom again to Rehoboam, the son of Jonah. But the word of the God came to Shema, the man of God, saying, speak unto Rehoboam, the son of Solomon, king of Judah, and unto the house of Judah and Benjamin, and the remnant of the people, saying, thus saith the Lord, ye shall not go up, nor fight against your brethren, the children of Israel. Return every man to his house, for this thing is from me. They hearkened therefore to the word of the Lord, and returned to depart according to the word of the Lord. So we see right here, he brought it to pass. He told Solomon he was going to rent the kingdom from him, and he brought it to pass. Right here. Word for word, he brought it to pass. Okay? Yeah. And right here with the it's another one with the in Isaiah chapter 10 verse 5. This is this pertaining to the Assyrians when Hezekiah was king, and the Assyrians came up against Israel to destroy Israel. And so he told Isaiah chapter 10. Okay, says, starting at verse 5, I'm reading 5 through 12 of chapter 10, says, O Assyrians, the rod of mine anger, and the staff in their hand is mine indignation. I will send him against. So what I'm reading now is, we saw that the 10 tribes was rent, and then the 10 tribes ended up being wicked. They was worshiping other gods and all that, so he's going to send the Assyrians up against the 10 tribes. It says, O Assyria, the rod, chapter 10, verse 5. O Assyria, the rod of mine anger, and the staff in their hand is mine indignation. I will send him against a hypocritical nation, and against the people of my wrath will I give him a charge to take the spoil and to take the prey, and to tread them down like the mirror of the streets. Howbeit he meaneth not so, neither doeth his heart think so, but it is in his heart to destroy and cut off nations, not a few. For he said, are not my princes altogether kings? Is not Cano as Carmish, and is not Hamath as Arphad? Is not Samaria as Damascus? As my hand have found the kingdoms of the idols, and whose graven images did excel them of Jerusalem and Samaria, shall I not, as I have done unto Samaria and her idols, so do to Jerusalem and her idols? Wherefore it shall come to pass, he pronouncing it right here, wherefore it shall come to pass that when the Lord hath performed his whole work upon Mount Zion and on Jerusalem, I will punish the fruit of the stock king of Assyria and the glory of his high looks. So what happened was the 10 tribes was wicked. They turned. They was going up to the high places, worshiping Baal and worshiping all these gods right here that he just mentioned in verse 9. Carmish, Hamath, and Arphad. And so he sent the Assyrians to chastise them, to the 10 tribes. But when he sent the Assyrian king, the Assyrian king got puffed up, and he got conceited and got prideful. So the Most High had to turn around, and he has to check the Assyrian king, because he's saying that he done all this on his own, right? So I'm gonna pick it up in the 2 Kings chapter 18. Okay, and where I'm at is, what I'm gonna read is verses 19 through 22 of chapter 18. Okay, it says, and so what's happening is the king of Assyria showed up at the verse 17 of chapter 18. 2 Kings says, and the king of Assyria sent Tarsan and Rabish and Reshin, I'm butchering these names, from Lachish to King Hezekiah with a great host against Jerusalem. And they went up, he came to Jerusalem. And when they came up, they came and stood by the cut door of the upper pool, which is in the highway of the fullest field. And when they had called to the king, they came out to them. Eliakim, the son of Hilkiah, which is over the household, and Shebna, the scribe, and Joah, the son of Asaph, the recorder. 19. And Rebushaven said unto them, speak ye now to Hezekiah. Thus saith the great king, the king of Assyria, which what confidence is this wherein thou trustest? Okay? Thou sayest, but they are but vain words. I have counsel and strength for war. Now on who do thou trust that thou rebellest against me? Says, now behold, thou trustest upon the staff of this bruised reed, even upon Egypt, on which a man leaned, it will go into his hand and pierce it. So is Pharaoh, king of Egypt, unto all that trusteth on him. But if ye say unto me, we trust in the Lord our God, is not he whose high places and whose altars Hezekiah hath taken away, have said to Judah and Jerusalem, ye shall worship before this altar in Jerusalem. So what happened is the Most High gave power to the king of Assyria, and he destroyed all his nations. Now he puffed up. Now he in Jerusalem, where the Most High is at. The Most High dwells in, the Lord of hosts dwells in Jerusalem. So he's asking the king of Israel, Hezekiah, your God that you got and that you worship, can he help you now? And so he's asking Hezekiah this. So I'm going to pick it up at 23. Now, therefore I pray thee, give pledge to my Lord. See, now he wants Hezekiah to worship his God. But his God ain't the one that sent him. He say, the king of Assyria, and the king of Assyria and I will deliver thee to 2,000 horses if thou wilt be able on that part to set riders upon them. How then wilt thou turn away the face of one captain of the least of my master's servants, and put thy trust in Egypt for chariots and for horsemen. Am I now come up without the Lord against this place to destroy it? The Lord said to me, go up against the land and destroy it. Then said Eliakim the son of Hilkiah and Shebna and Joah unto Rebishakeh, speak, I pray thee, to thy servant in the Syrian language, for we understand it, and talk not to us in the Jewish language, in the ears of the people that are on the wall. So, the Eliakim and Hezekiah and them, they wanted him to talk to them in the Syrian language, so the people won't hear it, so they won't be afraid. So they asked him, talk to us in the Syrian language. But look what he do. He says, 27. But Rebishakeh said unto them, have my master sent me? That's he talking about his king and Lord. Have my master sent me to thy master and to thee to speak these words? Have he not sent me to the men which sat on the wall that they may eat their own dung and drink their own piss, which with you? Then Rebishakeh stood and cried with a loud voice in the Jews' language, in the Hebrew language, and spake, saying, hear the word of the great king, the king of Assyria. See how puffed up he is? Thus said the king, let not Hezekiah deceive you. Listen to this. For he shall not be able to deliver you out of his hand. Neither let Hezekiah make you trust in the Lord, saying, the Lord will surely deliver us, and the city shall not be delivered unto the hands of the king of Assyria. Hearken not to Hezekiah, for thus saith the king of Assyria, make an agreement with me by a present, and come out to me, and then eat every man of his own vine, and every one of his fig tree, and drink ye every one of the waters of his cistern, until I come and take you away to a land like in your own land, and a land of corn and wine, and a land of bread and vineyards, a land of olives, oil, and honey, that ye may live and not die, and hearken unto Hezekiah, and hearken not unto Hezekiah when he persuaded you, saying, the Lord will deliver us. Have any of the gods of the nations delivered at all his land out of the hand of the king of Assyria? Whereas the gods of Hamath and Ashtaroth, which are the gods of Seraphim, Henna and Ava, have they delivered Samaria out of thy hands? Who are they among all the gods of the countries that have delivered their country out of my hands, that the Lord should deliver Jerusalem out of my hand? But the people held their peace and answered him not a word. But the king commandment was saying, answer him not. Then came Eliakim the son of Hilkiah, which was over the household, and Shebna, scribe, and Jonah, and Asher, the recorder, and to Hezekiah with their clothes rent, and told him the words of Rebishakeh. So my point is this. He said all this, but the Most High already pronounced over here that he was going to destroy Assyria, right? He pronounced that. So let's look at what happened. Second Kings 19. I'm going to start at verse 22, verse 32 through 35. So it says, in 32, it says, therefore, thus saith the Lord concerning the king of Assyria, he shall not come into this city, nor shoot an arrow there, nor come before it with shield, nor cast a bank against it. By the way that he came, by the same shall he return, and shall not come into this city, said the Lord. For I will defend this city, to save it, for mine own sake, and for my servant David's sake. And it came to pass, right here, what he spoke over there in about Assyria in Isaiah, right here, it comes to pass. And it came to pass that night that the angel of the Lord went out and smote the camp of the Assyrians, 185,000. And when they arose early in the morning, behold, they were all dead, carcasses. So he came and he killed all of them, just like he had said. So we see right here, just like he pronounced this, he brought it to pass and performed. So in Isaiah chapter 9, verse 6 and 7, I'm going to read it. It says that said, "For unto us a child is born, and unto us a son is given. The government shall be upon his shoulder, and his name shall be called Wonderful Counselor, the Mighty God, the Everlasting Father, the Prince of Peace. Of the increase of his government and peace there shall be no end upon the throne of David and upon this kingdom, to order it and to establish it with judgment and with justice from henceforth, even and forever. The zeal of the Lord of hosts shall perform this." So what we just read in Isaiah chapter 9, verse 6 through 7 is actually it's shining light on the fact that the covenant that the Most High have with David, that he's going to always be a son on the throne out of David's lineage. And let me read some of the covenants from 2 Samuel chapter 7. So he told David in 2 Samuel chapter 7 that said, and when he told David in 12 through 16, he says, "And when thy days are fulfilled, and thou shalt sleep with thy fathers, I will set up thy seed after thee, he shall proceed out of thy bowels, and I will establish his kingdom. He shall build a house for my name, and I will establish the throne of his kingdom forever. And I will be his father, and he shall be my son. If he commit iniquity, I will chasten him with the rod of men, and with the stripes of the children of men. But my mercy shall not depart away from him, as I took it from Saul, whom I put away before thee. And thy house and thy kingdom shall be established forever before thee. Thy throne shall be established forever." So this is the covenant that the Most High have with David, and it's just being reiterated in Isaiah 9, 6 or 7. So you can just on your own time you can do a comparison and contrast on those two verses. And so, with that being said, I'm going to 1 Kings. David, where I'm at right now is I'm showing you that the Most High made a covenant with David, and I'm showing you now how that he's performing from then, and he's still in effect today, and he's still honoring that right now. So, First Kings chapter 8. So David was about to pass on. In chapter 8, verse 12, it says, Solomon getting ready to dedicate the temple to the Lord. And verse 12 says, "Then spake Solomon, the Lord. Then spake Solomon, the Lord said that he would dwell in the thick darkness. I have surely built thee a house to dwell in, and a settled place for thee to abide in forever." And the king turned his face and blessed all the congregation of Israel, and all the congregation of Israel stood. And he said, "Blessed be the Lord God of Israel, who spake with his mouth unto David my father, and have with his hands fulfilled his saying. Since the day that I brought forth my people Israel out of Egypt, I chose not no city out of all the tribes of Israel to build a house, that my name might be therein. But I chose David to be over my people Israel. And it was in the heart of David my father to build a house for the name of the Lord God of Israel. And the Lord said unto David my father, whereas it was in thine heart to build a house unto my name, thou didst well that it was in thine heart. Nevertheless, thou shalt not build a house, but thy son that shall come forth out of thy loins, he shall build a house unto my name. And the Lord hath performed his words that he spake. And I am risen up in the room of David my father, and sat on the throne of Israel, as the Lord promised. And I have built a house for the name of the Lord God of Israel, and I have set there a place for the ark, wherein is the covenant of the Lord, which he made with our fathers, and he brought them up out of the land of Egypt. So you see right here, it came to pass, just as the Most High had promised him in 2 Samuel, it came to pass right here. Solomon came on the throne, just like he said, and Solomon built the house. And so a second witness to that is First Chronicles. First Chronicles 29. 29, I'm going to read, this coincides with what I just read in First Kings. The 2 Samuel 20 through 25. Chapter 29, 22, 25 says, and David said to all the congregation, now bless the Lord your God. And all the congregation blessed the Lord God of their fathers, and bowed down their heads and worshiped the Lord and the king. And they sacrificed unto the Lord, and offered burnt offerings unto the Lord on tomorrow after that day, even 1,000 bullocks, 1,000 rams, and 1,000 lambs, with their drink offerings and sacrifices in abundance for all Israel. And indeed eat and drink before the Lord on that day with great gladness. And they made Solomon, the son of David, king the second time, and anointed him unto the Lord to be the chief governor, and Zodok to be the priest. Then Solomon sat on the throne of the Lord as king instead of David, his father, and prospered, and all Israel obeyed him. And all the princes, and all the mighty men, and all the sons, likewise of King David, submitted themselves unto Solomon the king. And the Lord magnified Solomon exceedingly in the sight of all Israel, and bestowed upon him such royal majesty as he had not been on any king before him in Israel. So you see that the Most High performed exactly what he had said on his day. Okay, and so that was the first son that was the first king they sit on the throne out of David's lineage behind after David. And so where I want to go now is we're still dealing with the covenant that the Most High have with David. So I'm going to 2 Kings chapter 11. And what's happening in 2 Kings chapter 11 is it's a son out of Solomon's lineage on the throne, and he's wicked, and his mother is wicked too, and she became entangled herself into the affairs of the Most High and affairs of the king, and so she ended up. Let's go to it, chapter 12. 2 Kings chapter 11. The name is Athaliah. I don't know if anybody's familiar with her, but so 2 Kings chapter 11, starting at verse 1, it says, so what happened was her son ended up being killed. They killed her son. So she angry. Her son was Ahijah. You say, I'm in chapter 11, verse 1. And when Athaliah, the mother of Ahijah, saw that her son was dead, she arose and destroyed all the seed royal. Okay, and then so right here we see that if she's trying to destroy all the seeds out of David's lineage, that means that she's in direct opposition with the Most High, because the Most High got a covenant with David that he's gonna always have a son on the throne out of David's lineage. So if she killed all the seed royal, that means that she didn't cut the covenant off that the Most High had. So let's see what happened. So she actually called the Lord of hosts out, because he has to step up and because he has to provide a seed, a son for David. So verse 2, but Josheba, the daughter of King Jehoram, sister of Ahijah, took Joash, the son of Ahijah, and stole him from among the king's sons, which were slain, and they hid him, even him and his nurse, in the bedchamber of Athaliah, so that he was not slain. And he was with her hid in the house of the Lord 6 years, and Athaliah did reign over the land. Okay, so we see right here the Most High stepped in and used Ahijah's sister, and she took one of Ahijah's sons and hid him away. And so she's thinking that she done killed all of them, but she actually got one of them hid away. Joash is hid. He's hid away. And if you keep going in that same chapter, you'll see that verse 16 that eventually Athaliah was killed. And and so when they killed her, they had to bring the actual seed that was supposed to be on the throne. They had to bring him out. So he'd been hid for 6 years. So I'm going to pick up in verse 16. And they laid hands on her, and she went by the way by which the horses came into the king's house, and there she was slain. And Jedediah made a covenant between the Lord and the king and the people that they should be the Lord's people, between the king also and the people. And all the people of the land went in to the house of Baal and break it down, his altars and his images, break they in pieces thoroughly, and slew Mattan, the priest of Baal, before the altars, and the priests appointed officers over the house of the Lord. And he took the rulers over the hundreds, and the captains, and the guards, and all the people of the land, and they brought down the king from the house of the Lord, this Joash that they had hid, and came by the way of the gate of the guard of the king's house, and he sat on the throne of the king, and all the people of the land rejoiced, and the city was quiet, and they slew Adnah with the sword beside the king's house. 7 years old was Joash when he began to reign. So we see right here the both sides performed this covenant that he had with David by preserving the seed and putting the seed on the throne of David in David's stead. So he actually performed it right there. So that's another example. And so a third example is Hezekiah. It's in Isaiah chapter 1. So we know that when you read the scriptures, it makes a point to let you know that some of the kings was wicked, some of them was righteous, some of them did that was good, but most of them did that was wicked. So we're gonna see right here, and so part of the covenant that the Most High have with David is that he's always gonna raise up a righteous seed. You know, you might be 2 or 3 wicked kings, but he's gonna always raise up a righteous king to bring Israel back to him. So if you go to Isaiah chapter 1, you see that verse 1 says, the vision of Isaiah the son of Amos, which he saw concerning Judah and Jerusalem in the days of Uzzah, Jotham, and Ahaz, and Hezekiah, kings of Judah. So in that verse right there, we see 4 kings. Well, we know that the first 3, it was wicked. Uzzah, Jotham, and Ahaz, they was wicked, but Hezekiah was righteous. So just in that verse right there, you see 3 wicked kings ruled on the throne of Israel, and they took Israel away from the Lord. Then the Most High, just like he had promised, he brought Hezekiah, and Hezekiah brought Israel back to the Lord. He was a reformer. He brought them back. So we see right there, the covenant that the Most High have with David is in effect right there, just in that one verse. And so, and then another place, a fourth example is Jehoiakim. That's in 2 Kings. 2 Kings chapter 25. You know, you might not be familiar with some of these people, but after the day, I'm quite sure you will be. 2 Kings 25 says, verse, well, I'll give you a little brief history on what happened was this is right after Josiah was killed, and then the Babylonians came, and the Babylonians took the seed that was on the throne after Josiah and Jehoahaz, and say chapter 2 Kings 23 and 31 says Jehoahaz was 20 and 3 years old when he began to reign, and he reigned 3 months in Jerusalem, and his mother's name was Hamathal, the daughter of Jeremiah of Libnah, and he did that which was evil in the sight of the Lord, and according to all that his fathers had done. And Pharaoh Necho put him in bands in Riblah in the land of Hamath, and that he might not reign in Jerusalem, and put the land to tribute of 100 talents of silver and talents of gold. So the Pharaoh from Egypt came and got this son right here and took him to Egypt. And then in verse 36, Jehoiakim reigned. They put Jehoiakim on the throne. He was 20 and this is 23 and 24, no 23 and 36. Jehoiakim was 20 and 5 years old when he began to reign, and he reigned 11 years in Jerusalem. And his mother's name was Zabiah, the daughter of Pedadiah of Rumah, and he did that which was evil in the sight of the Lord, according to all that his father had done. And then we know that in chapter 24, verse 1, in his days, Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, came up, and Joachim became his servant 3 years, and he turned and rebelled against him. And so you keep reading that he took him to Babylon, and eventually he killed him. And then so verse 8, 24, and Jehoiakim, this is what we're talking about right here. Jehoiakim was 18 years old when he began to reign, and he reigned in Jerusalem 3 months. And his mother's name was Nehushta, the daughter of Elathan of Jerusalem, and he did that which was evil in the sight of the Lord, according to all that his fathers had done. And at that time, the servants of Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, came up against Jerusalem and the city and besieged it. Okay, and so he was taken to Babylon. Yeah, he was taken to Babylon also. Okay, let me read it. It said 14. And he carried away all of Jerusalem and all the princes and all the mighty men of valor, even 10,000 captives and all the craftsmen and smiths. None remained, save the poor sort of the people of the land. And he carried away Jehoiakim to Babylon, and the king's mother, and the king's wives, and his officers, and the mighty of the land, those carried away into captivity in Babylon. So he took Jehoiakim to Babylon. So keep in mind that the Most High had to keep a seed. He got a covenant with David. He's going to keep a seed alive to be on David's throne. And so he took this boy right here, Jehoiakim, on the throne. From the throne, and they took him to Babylon. So if you go to chapter 25, verse 27. So this later on, he was like 18 when they took him to Babylon. I think he was like 18 or 16, something like that. So I'm in 2 Kings 25 and 27. And it came to pass in the 7th and 30th year of the captivity of Jehoiakim, king of Judah, in the 12th month of the 7th and 20th day of the month, the evil Murdoch, king of Babylon, in the year that he began to reign, so Nebuchadnezzar died, and Nebuchadnezzar's son taken over. He lifted up the head of Jehoiakim, king of Judah, out of prison, and he spake kindly to him, and set his throne, which is David's throne, above the throne of the kings that were with him in Babylon, and changed his prison garment, and he did eat bread continuously before him all the days of his life. And his continual allowance was given him of the king at daily rate for every day, all the days of his life. So we see right here, the Most High performed again his covenant with David. He preserved Jehoiakim and raised him up, which is David's throne, and raised David's throne up in Babylon above all the other thrones in Babylon. Right? So we see that he's at work. Everything that he performed, everything that he said, he's performing. And so now I'm going to deal with Zerubbabel. That's in, let me see, Haggai chapter 2. Okay, Haggai chapter 2. So right here, Haggai chapter 2, verses 20 through 23 is the Most High, he's speaking through Haggai to Zerubbabel. So verse 20, I'm reading from 20 to 23, says,
What chapter?
Chapter 2 of Haggai, verse 20. And again, the word of the Lord came unto Haggai in the 4th and 20th day of the month, saying, Speak to Zerubbabel, governor of Judah, saying, I will shake the heavens and the earth, and I will overthrow the thrones of kingdoms, and I will destroy the strength of the kingdoms of the heathens, and I will overthrow the chariots and those that ride in them, and the horses and their riders shall come down, every one by the sword of his brother. In that day, saith the Lord of hosts, I will take thee, O Zerubbabel, my servant, the son of Shethar, said the Lord, and I will make thee a signet, for I have chosen thee, said the Lord of hosts. So, I want to shine a light on something before I move forward. In verse 23, we see that he says, in that day, said the Lord of hosts, I will take thee, O Zerubbabel, my servant, the son of Shethar. So you see this guy, Zerubbabel's father's name is Shethar, right? So who is Shethar's father? It's Jehoiakim that we just read. That's the reason why he preserved Jehoiakim. He raised him up later on in his captivity in Babylon, and Jehoiakim, remember, he took his mother and all the king's wives with him. Jehoiakim's wives and his mother with him to Babylon. And he raised his throne up, and so Shethar was born, which is Zerubbabel's father. And then Zerubbabel came forth from Shethar. So he's keeping the covenant with David all through here, when you understand it. And you're reading it right. Okay? And so that's another example right there where we see all the time he's honoring his covenant that he got with David. Okay? And so I'm going to read again where he says in 21, I'm going to shine a little more light on it. Haggai says, chapter 2, and verse 21 says, Speak to Zerubbabel, governor of Judah, saying, I will shake the heavens and the earth, and I will overthrow the thrones of the kingdoms, and I will destroy the strength of the kingdoms of the heathen, and I will overthrow the chariots and those that ride in them, and the horses and their riders shall come down, every one by the sword of his brother. In that day, said the Lord of hosts, I will take thee, O Zerubbabel, my servant, the son of Shethar, said the Lord, and I will make thee a signet, for I have chosen thee, said the Lord of hosts. So let me shine a little more light on that. If you go to Ezra chapter 1, keep in mind they in Babylon, and they have to go back to Jerusalem, so they got to have a king out of David's lineage with them in order for them to be legitimate. So if you go to Ezra chapter 1, okay, so he just told them he's going to shake the kingdoms of the earth and all that. That's in the Babylonian kingdom. So now we in Ezra chapter 1, verse 1. Now, in the first year of Cyrus is a Persian. It's a second beast. So the Babylonian kingdom been taken over by the Persians. So he says, now, in the first year of Cyrus, king of Persia, that the word of the Lord by the mouth of Jeremiah might be fulfilled, the Lord stirred up the spirit of Cyrus, king of Persia, that he made a proclamation throughout all his kingdom and put it in writing, saying, Thus says Cyrus, king of Persia, the Lord God of heaven, have given me all the kingdoms of the earth, and he hath charged me to build him a house at Jerusalem, which is in Judea. Who is there among you of all his people? His God be with him, and let him go up to Jerusalem, which is in Judea, and build a house of the Lord, God of Israel. He is the God which is in Jerusalem. And whosoever remaineth in any place where he sojourned, let the men of his place help him with silver and with gold, goods, and with beasts, beside a freewill offering for the house of God that is in Jerusalem. Then rose up the chief fathers of Judah and Benjamin, and the priests and the Levites, with all of them whose spirit God had raised, to go up to build the house of the Lord which is in Jerusalem. All they that were about them strengthened their hands with vessels of silver, and with gold, goods, with beasts, and with precious things, besides that which was willingly offered. Also Cyrus the king brought forth the vessels of the house of the Lord, which Nebuchadnezzar had brought forth out of Jerusalem, and put them in the house of his God. Even those did Cyrus king of Persia bring forth by the hands of Mithra the treasurer, and numbered them to Sheshbazzar, unto Sheshbazzar, the prince of Judah. So we see right here that when you write in the Bible, Sheshbazzar is Zerubbabel's captive name. So the prophecy and the covenant that he had with David, that he's going to always have a king on the throne out of David's lineage, is performed right here. It comes to pass right here, because the Sheshbazzar is Zerubbabel. And you say, well, what are you talking about? Turn the page, go to chapter 2, verse 1. And it says, remember what he just done. The treasurer brought out all this gold and silver and gave it to Zerubbabel. So to Sheshbazzar. Sheshbazzar is in charge. Everybody following Sheshbazzar. Chapter 2, verse 1. Now, these are the children of the province that went up out of the captivity of those which had been carried away, whom Nebuchadnezzar, the king of Babylon, had carried away unto Babylon, and came again unto Jerusalem and Judah, every one unto his city. Here goes your answer. Verse 2, which came with Zerubbabel. So they're all them following Zerubbabel. You go back to chapter 1, verse 8. Even those did Cyrus, king of Persia, bring forth by the hands of Mithra, as treasurer, and numbered them to Sheshbazzar, the prince of Judah. So Sheshbazzar and Zerubbabel are the same person, which is and Zerubbabel that out of the lineage of David. So the Most High has performed his covenant with David again right here with Zerubbabel. And so you say, well, how did you come up with that? So let's go to Isaiah 44. And we see that Cyrus was one that made all this happen. Cyrus made a proclamation in Ezra chapter 1, verse 1. He made a proclamation. And so now you go to Isaiah. And so before all this happened, Isaiah had already pronounced this that the Lord had told him. In Isaiah 44. Verses, I'm going to start at verse 21, says, remember these, O Jacob and Israel, for thou art my servant. I have formed thee. Thou art my servant, O Israel. Thou shalt not be forgotten of me. I have blotted out as a thick cloud thy transgressions, and as a cloud thy sins. Return unto me, for I have redeemed thee. Sing, O ye heavens, for the Lord hath done it. Shout, ye lower parts of the earth. Break forth in the singing, ye mountains, O forests, and every tree therein. For the Lord hath redeemed Jacob, and glorified himself in Israel. Thus saith the Lord, thy Redeemer, and he that hath formed thee from the womb. I am the Lord that maketh all things, that stretcheth forth the heavens alone, that spreadeth abroad the earth by myself, that frustrateth the tokens of the liars, and maketh diviners mad, that turneth wise men backwards, and maketh their knowledge foolish, that comforteth the word of his servant, and performeth the counsel of his messengers, that saith to Jerusalem, thou shalt be inhabited, and to the cities of Judah ye shall be built. But I will raise up the decayed places thereof, that saith to the deep, be dry, and I will dry up the rivers. Now here go the verse right here I'm talking about. That saith to Cyrus. So he already called Cyrus' name out before Cyrus even came on the scene. That saith to Cyrus, he is my shepherd, and shall perform all my pleasure, even saying to Jerusalem, thou shalt be built, and to the temple, thy foundation shall be built. So what is he talking about? Go back over here where I just came from, Ezra chapter 1. So this is the Most High spoke this before it even happened. So I hope you're catching this, because we're going backwards. We're going backwards to Ezra. But Ezra actually go in front of
Isaiah.
Yeah, go behind Isaiah. Mm-hmm. So it says, right here, now, in the first year of Cyrus, king of Persia, that the word of the Lord might be, by the mouth of Jeremiah might be fulfilled, the Lord stirred up the spirit of Cyrus, king of Persia, that he made a proclamation throughout his kingdom and put it in writing, saying, thus saith the Lord, thus saith Cyrus, king of Persia, the Lord God of heaven, this Lord of hosts, have given me all the kingdoms of the earth, and he hath charged me to build him a house at Jerusalem, which is in Judea. Go back to 44 and 28. That saith to Cyrus, he is my shepherd, and shall perform all my pleasures, even saying to Jerusalem, thus thou shalt be built, and to the temple thy foundation shall be laid. So he brought it to pass right here. He performed it. Behind the scenes, bringing all this to pass. Okay? Now, so with that being said, and to close this out, we know that from the previous events that happened earlier when I told you that the Syrians had came up against Israel to destroy Israel, but the Most High came out and destroyed them. And so we know that the Lord he came and he performed his duties with and destroyed the Syrians. And so the king of Assyria sent his Lord of hosts, and he spoke to the Israelites in the Hebrew language. Let's go there. 2 Kings, because it's something very important in here I want to show you. 2 Kings 19, verses 32 and 35. Let me find it. Yeah, right here it says, therefore, thus said the Lord concerning the king of Assyria, he shall not come into the city, nor shoot an arrow there, nor come before it with shield, nor cast a blank against it. By the way that he came, by the same shall he return, and shall not come into this city, said the Lord. And I will defend this city and save it for mine own sake, and for my servant David's sake. And it came to pass that night that the angel of the Lord went out and smote the camp of the Syrians, 140 score and 5,000. And when they arose early in the morning, behold, they were all dead, corpses. So Sennacherib, king of Assyria, departed and went and turned and dwelt in Nineveh. So when the Most High came up against him and embarrassed him, then he had to leave. And so my point is that they asked him they asked the Lord of hosts when he came up to them when they was on the wall. When they came up, he asked them. He was speaking to them in the Hebrew language, loud, because he was boastful. And they asked him, Hezekiah asked him to please don't talk to us in the Hebrew language, but talk to us in the Syrian language. But he refused to do that, so he got even louder, speaking in Hebrew. Well, if you understand what's going on, the angel's speaking Hebrew. That's why the Israelites speaking Hebrew. So he's actually talking and boasting, and he's not understanding that these angels, they're listening right to what he's saying. So we see what happened. That night, they came and wiped the whole camp out. Because he came forth just like Adler did with the seed royal and tried to kill all the seed royal. They came directly up against the Lord of hosts. And so he had to act. And we see what he done. He wiped the whole Assyrian army out. Embarrassed them. Okay? And so my thing is this. So did the Lord not destroy Haman, the Agagite, and did he not cut him off in the days of Esther and Mordecai? And the Lord of hosts has promised the Hebrews like that he will raise our forefathers up out of their graves in Ezekiel 37, verses 1 through 14. And I'm gonna read verse 14. We know the verse. We done went over this 1,000 times, but verse 14 says that which is tied to the class. Says, and I'm gonna start at 13. And he shall know that I am the Lord when I have opened up your graves, O my people, and brought you up out of your graves, and shall put my spirit in you, and ye shall live. I shall place you in your own land. Then shall ye know that I, the Lord, have spoken it and performed it, saith the Lord. So my point is that all that we went through in this class, and we see that everything that the Most High has spoken, He brought it to pass. So he's spoken right here in Ezekiel 37 that He's going to raise us up out of our graves, our forefathers, and they're going to stand on their feet in the land of Israel. And He also proclaimed to us that He's going to come and get us and return us back to our homeland. So, contrary to whatever you might see or how you might feel, we know that this is going to come to pass because everything else He's done has came to pass. And so, on my way out, in closing, I want to read Micah chapter 7, verse 15 through 20. as a little reassurance. Micah 7. It says 15 through 20. It says, according to the days that I coming out of the land of Egypt, will I show unto him marvelous things. The nations shall see and be confounded at all their might. At all their might, they shall lay their hands upon their mouths. Their ears shall be deaf. They shall lick the dust like the serpent. They shall move out of their holes like worms of the earth. They shall be afraid of the Lord our God, and shall fear because of thee. Who is a God like it unto thee, that pardoneth iniquity and passeth by the transgression of the remnant of his heritage? He retaineth not his anger forever, because he delighteth in mercy. He will turn again. He will have compassion upon us. He will subdue our iniquities, and thou wilt cast all their sins into the depths of the sea. Thou wilt perform, Hebrews, the truth to Jacob, and the mercy to Abraham, which thou hast sworn unto our fathers from days of old. So we don't say anymore. And also, we see that in Joel chapter 3. Let me find it right quick. Joel chapter 3, verse 2, it says, I will also gather all nations, and I will bring them down into the valley of Jehoshaphat, and I will plead with them there for my people and for my heritage Israel, whom they have scattered among the nations and parted my land. Okay, so this is where we at right now. So he made this proclamation right here that he's gonna gather all nations and bring them down to the valley of Jehoshaphat and plead for us. So my thing to you is this. Look at Jeremiah 25 and 31. This during the time of the Babylonians. 25 and 31 says, this during the time of the Babylonians, a noise shall come even to the ends of the earth, for the Lord have a controversy with the nations. This back during the time of the Babylonians. He will plead with all flesh. He will give them that are wicked to the sword, said the Lord. Thus said the Lord of hosts, behold, evil shall go forth from nation to nation, and great whirlwinds shall be raised up on the coast of the earth. And the slain of the Lord shall be at that day from one end of the earth even unto the other end of the earth. They shall not be laminated, neither gathered nor buried. They shall be dung upon the ground. So we see right here, he pleaded with the Babylonians and the nations back then. And he brought it to pass. They were delivered from Babylon, and they returned to Israel, and they rebuilt the temple. So surely we know that the Most High is coming. He performed everything else, and he's going to perform this. And so David learned what I'm speaking for right now. For me studying in the scriptures, I learned this from David. David learned from the Lord in Psalms 119. I'm going to read it. I'm closing. In Psalms 119. It says, verses 105 and 106. Says, thy words is a lamp unto my feet, David talking, and a light unto my path. I have sworn, and I will perform it, and I will keep thy righteous judgments. So David has learned from the Most High that what you say is what you do. What you say is what you perform. And so for me reading this, I learned it from David. And so David blessed the Lord for his faithfulness and his word and everything that is spoken by him. And so we must do the same thing in these last days. And at the end of the class, we're going to go into Q&A if anybody have any questions. Okay.
Are y'all there?
I'm here, but I don't have any questions.
Say that again.
I don't have any questions.
Okay, well that's the nobody else have any questions pertaining to the class? According to what they just heard?
So I got a statement. So based on what we just learned, and based on everything that we were taught, from Christianity, from being a Hebrew Israelite, our salvation and our redemption is when he comes and takes us out of our captivity. And in the process of saving us, you have the Egyptian captivity, the Babylonian captivity. In the process of saving us out of our captivity, he blots the years that we spent in captivity is recompense for blotting out our transgressions. So when he comes back to redeem us, that's when he blots out our transgressions for what we did based on our punishment.
Right, yeah, we nobody died. We nobody got down the cross for it. Just he does that.
Right.
And an example of that is in Exodus 23:20. He says that I send my angel before thee. Mm-hmm. Obey him, for my name is in him. He will not part of your transgression.
Right.
Ain't no cross in there nowhere.
Right.
So it's not. It don't have nothing to do with nobody dying on crosses. He has the ability, because of who he is, to pardon your sins or blot them out as if they never exist.
Because when you read Micah 7:18 and Isaiah 44:22, he said it both times, blotting out our transgression.
Right.
So once he comes to redeem us, it's like putting your son on punishment. You go on punishment for a week.
Right.
You ain't playing no games. That's your punishment for all your sins.
Right. And
then once you come off punishment, everything that you got punished for is canceled.
Right.
Okay.
Then he's righteous, so he can't deal with sin anyway.
Right.
So he's doing what Adam didn't do.
Right.
When Adam came upon sin, he didn't excuse the sin. He still dealt with Eve, and that's how he ended up in the predicament he was in.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I just saw that just now when you was reading. I said, that's what it is.
Right. Right.
All right. Well. All right. So.
Questions to the any other questions? You got to be pertaining to the class. Huh? Okay. You gonna close? You close and then we'll talk a little bit.
All right, so I'm getting ready to stop the recording. As always, we meet every Wednesdays at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and Saturday mornings at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Shalom.